Hello, group. Welcome to Action Rock Corner. I'm your host, Richard May. Today, the Gasolines, Helldorado. Isn't that just a great Red Fink Federation cover? You do Red Fink Federations, I'm your friend. It's always cool. See, Australia does it too. With square tugs over there. This is from Norway. I guess Red Fink drawings travel internationally. And of course, the Gasolines, in my ignorance, and I know better by now, if you sound like from Midwest America, redneck hicks, you're not from America, you're from Europe somewhere, or Australia. Yeah, 2025, you want to hear something redneck with no foreign accent. You have to go to Europe or Australia. You get good old redneck, hot rod. Let's get some chicks. Let's do some drugs. Rock and roll. Life is good. Europe is taking up the mantle. So the Gasolines is just inspired by rock and roll. They do this whole thing in their PR, from the 50s and the 60s, 70s, and 90s. It's just rock and roll, kids. None of this whining, let's shoot ourselves in the head music. No. It's about hot rods and chicks and fun. This looks like fun? Yes, it is. And so is the music. It's just driving, never slows down. 10 songs, 35 minutes. Doesn't slow down for hardly a second. Hardly a second. And it just barrels through. Riding Shotgun, Devil Deuce, Dead Man's Hand, Bucking the Tiger, Ace in the Hole, Death Rider. Get the idea? One song I saved, A-Palm Pinup. Sing about girls. I like it. Wrecking Ball, Speed Trap. And the last song, which is the second song from the album I saved, Burn Forever. It doesn't even, gear up to get to speed. The song starts in the middle of the jam. There's like a spoken word intro, welcome to, I forget what his second, it says, welcome to Car Modern or whatever. End of the world. And then straight to the jam, all the way to the end. Great, great tune. There's a third song of theirs I saved from these sessions, but it's a single that is not part of the record. It's a cover single. It's a cover of the Ruba News. It's from Berserkly Records from California in the late 70s. Berserkly Records. See, Berserkly's best, which is the only Ruba News I have physically nowadays. I think I may have another one hiding somewhere, but this is the old Ruba News label. And But I don't think the Rubinoos original sounds like what the Castlines did with this. It sounds like the Castlines. It sounds like this record. A lovely old number called Rock and Roll is Dead. It came out in 1977. Now we discuss whether or not rock and roll is dead, and it's not. We do this every day here. Great new music every day. I don't know. Am I going to slow down and decide, oh, I can't find any decent rock and roll today? Maybe I will. But at the moment, I got a nice stack in my living room of albums to explore that I have full confidence in. I'm going to find something cool. There's another one that's cool. And yes, this is action rock. I found this through a Fistful of Rock and Roll, their Facebook site, and advertised this fine record. I went, that sounds cool. I wrote it down, print out the cover, listened to it. Here we are. I saved 3 of their tunes. This is their 3rd record, if I didn't say that already. In the Ramones tradition, everyone in the band is called Gasoline, has a surname Gasoline. If they're brothers and there's a Mr. and Mrs. Gasoline in Norway somewhere, cool. Well, I think they adopted their last names. And they listed all the cool stuff. You know, is this rock music? Yes. Action rock? Hell yeah. Garage rock? Yeah, yes. Punk rock? Of course it is. Action rock is hard rock with punk. Rock and roll, add hot. Well, I'm going to add high energy rock. Hard rock should be in there too. I'm only allowed to have 6, right? Make a note of this, Mr. May. Hard rock. I'm going to do the tags. I lost my pen. So, it's just great fun here on, okay, warning. Warning, okay? Yes, there is a Gasoline's subscription site, excuse me, channel. You can subscribe to the Gasolines, and well, here's the problem. When I went looking for this, it didn't give me the Gasolines. There's another band called Gasoline and whatever. I had to go to the album title, Helldorado. Did I say it right? You know what I mean. It was a cool car back in the day, wasn't it? When cars wasn't looking all the same. So look under the album title for the record. You should be able to find it casually. Yes, he will try to take you to Rasp and their song. Remember Rasp? They were fun for a minute. But yeah, you may need to go to the album title to get to this record. And then you can go subscribe to the band and their YouTube channel and whatnot. Oh, I took it out. Ruba News, Berserkly Records. I showed you this one. This is their first release, and the band was co-owners of the label Earthquake. This is why we know Berserkly. Well, I know Berserkly Records is because Earthquake and their version, their cover of Friday on My Mind, played every weekend to kick off the weekend on my big ass rock and roll station, the Buzzard. And So I discovered Earthquake through the radio. And Perserkly from there. They had some cool bands at Perserkly back in the late 70s, including the Ruben News. I don't believe I ever owned a Ruben News record off the top of my head. But the Ruben News, how did the Casselines find the Ruben News? I don't know if Perserkly Records traveled overseas easily, but cool for the Casselines to cover the Ruben News and accuse it of being classic rock. It's old. It's a 48-year-old song, but the Casselines want to say that the Ruben News and their song Rock and Roll is Dead is classic rock, more power to them. It ought to be. A lot of alleged classic rock should be dropped from that designation. The Ruben News should replace it, absolutely. So, is that all I got? It's fun. And it's rock and roll, and it's about hot rods and speed, and but speed where you're allowed to. Okay. I had some people go to jail here in Cleveland and Ohio, in the Northeast Ohio region, because they did what hot rodders used to do when I was a kid. It's illegal now. It was illegal then, but now they send you to jail. The squares are winning. Sometimes we think we beat the squares, but then, you know how America is nowadays. We're not that hip. Some people, form a bonfire and do donuts in the middle of the street, and people use their mind. Yeah. People, don't you remember that? Remember drag racing in the street? I remember drag racing down Fleet Avenue. I was there. I was a witness. Then the gas crisis occurred, and we couldn't afford. Didn't have 12-cent a gallon gasoline anymore. We couldn't afford it anymore. And we never quite recovered, have we? You like this video? Give it a like. Subscribe to Action Rock Corner. And ring the notification bell. And listen. Go. Might be a little tricky. But under Helldorado, you see the spelling. Look under that to find the album. If you can't find it through Casselines like I couldn't. And come back and tell me what you think of that fine record. And do you agree? Is this the action rock you've been waiting for? It is for me. For the latest in action rock, garage rock, punk, psychobilly and rockabilly, and classic and legacy bands, come back here at Action Rock Corner. We'll have it for you. And remember, fresh music is as important as fresh food. Keeps you regular in every respect. This is fresh. And if this is the first time you discover the Casselines, there's another 2 records of this that I'm sure is as good as this. I trust. And singles. The stuff that didn't make a record. Like Rock and Roll is Dead. A cover of the Ruben News. I didn't expect to think of the Ruben News today. I'd be reminded of the Ruben News today. So, life is good. Right? You remind me of the Ruben News. Life is good. in good old Berserkly Records. You also know, you're going, what the heck was on Berserkly Records? Well, Greg Kihn, Jeopardy. You remember the song Jeopardy? And Jonathan Richman and the Martin Lovers, Roadrunner. That's where Jonathan Richman made his breakthrough as such, if Jonathan Richman ever had a breakthrough as such. But we love Jonathan Richman, and God bless Greg Kihn, who we lost recently. And got a chance to see him live before the pandemic, and he was great. Became a mystery writer in between. Anything else I'm supposed to say? I don't think so. Have fun with your music. This is fun. We'll see you again soon.